Hey everyone, it's Lindy and welcome back to my channel, Rainbow Body. On this channel I talk about all kinds of spiritual, metaphysical, and starseed topics, and today we are going to dive into connecting with our inner child. So let's get into it. First of all, I really actually have no idea what I look like. Like if it's shady, I have to keep my sunglasses on. Today is like the first summer day that we've had in Colorado since, we had a really long winter this year, and today is the first day that I'm actually able to get outside and really enjoy the weather. I could get away with wearing a tank top or a sundress right now and be totally fine. It's like almost 80 degrees out here. So I wanted to film outside because I'm enjoying the day. I myself am connecting to my inner child today and just like getting out and playing and having fun and enjoying this beautiful day. So I just thought it would be an appropriate topic to talk about our inner child today and how we connect with that, and really also too the benefits that connecting to our inner child has. So hopefully I can use this footage and I don't look like some shady, all shaded or whited out like a ghost. I can use this footage. Alright, so in this video I am going to cover how to connect to your inner child, why we should, why it's so important to do this, and what we can learn from children and what we can learn from our inner child, but also what we can learn from children. Okay? So, I have known the importance of this for quite some time, but I was recently and very, very inspired to make this video today. So I'm part of this chat group on social media, and we're always, saying that we are 4, or we are 5, or we are 6 years old. And it's just so fun. We have this really, really fun, playful, childlike camaraderie going on between us. And it actually re-inspired me to connect with my inner child. It reminded me of the importance of that. And the reason it is so important is because it does really raise our vibration when we connect to that part of us. Now, I want to say, I think it's pretty safe to say that everyone has an inner child. All of us adults have an inner child, okay? But for a lot of us, we have had to grow up and had to bear a lot of responsibility being adults and doing adult things, adulting, hashtag adulting, but that we've really lost our connection with our inner child. And when I'm talking about our inner child, I am talking about the part of us that is pure. That is pure love and light. The part of us that is carefree, and the part of us that is just loving and caring and is pure and innocent. That is our inner child, okay? So like I said, connecting with our inner child, it really raises our vibration. It can also connect us to our emotions that may be suppressed so they can be released. Okay, and it can also help us to find our joy and bring us back to our life purpose, it can bring us back to our true life calling and life purpose, because connecting to our inner child helps us find our joy. Okay, so let's get a little bit more into right now raising our vibration, and how connecting to our inner child directly raises our vibration and raises our frequency. Let's get into that. When we connect to our inner child, there is a sense of joy and a sense of play. Of course, getting out of your problems and the problems of the world to lighten up and have some playful energy about things is going to raise our vibration. Because what is that's just really trying to live in the moment instead of living in all these issues or problems that are going on in the world. There's always going to be problems in the world, and there always might be some problems in our life too. But I'm not saying like let's just completely disregard all these issues and problems. Let's not do that. But let's just learn how to joy on our own and connect to those things that bring us joy. Okay? So what could bring you joy? I mean, it can be it's a wide variety, and it's really different for everyone, but you know what brings you joy. And if you just ask yourself and ask your heart will let you know what that is, if maybe it's not coming to you just right away. But some ways that I like to spark joy and create joy and connect to my inner child, one of them is bike riding, because I myself did a lot of bike riding as a kid. So I got back into riding my bicycle as an adult, and that really helps me connect to my inner child. But also for me, it is connecting to my creative side, being creative, being crafty, and just enjoying the process of being creative. Maybe it's coloring in an adult coloring book. Maybe it is making a video. Maybe it is writing in my journal, or maybe it's painting or drawing. I'm really associated with that kind of stuff, but it's going to be things that you actually really did enjoy as a child, okay? So that's going to raise our vibration. And then connecting to our inner child can really help us actually move through and heal our trauma and our suppressed emotion. So if we're working on healing with our inner child, or we want to connect back to our heart, okay, this is a good technique. Having a picture of yourself when you were a child to really make a physical connection to that child within you is really going to help you. That would be like a first step to really help connect to your inner child. If you want to connect to your inner child, to do some inner child work. Okay, now I want to also say real quick that I have not been certified or taken any classes on inner child work. There's like a whole section of healing, right, that has to do with inner child work. Okay, well, I'm not an inner child practitioner, if you will, but that is something I plan on eventually doing, because I do believe that connecting to our inner child really helps. And I've actually personally healed a lot from connecting to my inner child. Now, certain things that I've done to really work on myself and heal myself and help myself, maybe seminars or classes or courses that I personally have taken, they don't come out and say this is inner child work, but there's a lot of work with your inner child, and there's a lot of talk about what we can learn from children. And one of the big, huge things we can learn from children is to not suppress our emotions, okay? And to heal from our hurts and our traumas that have happened. Essentially, learning to work and cope with our core issues, okay? Now, core issues are something that I could make an entire video on, okay? I'm not going to get really in depth into it here because I want to keep the video more focused on inner child and connecting to that. But just a brief rundown of core issues, okay? Core issues, in 99.9% of people, core issues are false beliefs that you have created, and they usually stem from childhood or some time in our earlier lives, okay? Before we're like well into adulthood. I know personally for me, a lot of my core issues came from when I was a child and things that had happened, and a lot of my core issues came from my parents. And that's just because it's not because they're bad people and they didn't know how to raise their daughter. It's because I was around my parents the most. And maybe it's like you will develop a false belief about something. So I have an example for you here. An example of a core issue and developing a core issue was maybe when you grew up, your parents were really, really hard on you and very competitive and very, very driven and wanted you to succeed and wanted you to be the most successful kid on the soccer team or be the best martial artist or the best ballet dancer in the class. And that was very important to your parents. But then, if maybe you failed and didn't quite get first place, or you weren't quite the best at every single thing, and your parents were not happy with you when you failed, then you could develop a core issue. I mean, it's different for everyone, what core issue that could be developed from that. But basically, you're just going to develop some kind of false belief about yourself that when you fail, you are not worth loving. Okay, or you're not worth loving because you're not perfect, or like something like this, or you're not good enough. That's a core issue that like a lot of people have. That's a really common one. We might almost all have that core issue. I'm not good enough, right? But that is a lie that you're telling yourself, okay? That is a false belief that you've created about yourself, because really, in truth, everyone's good enough. Everyone's good enough, and it is everyone's birthright to be here and live their lives. Okay, that is our birthright. Everyone is good enough. So, connecting to your inner child when you're doing work like this, trying to find your core issues and heal and learn how to work through those, it can be really useful then to connect to your inner child, because then that could help you figure out what your core issues are, because things from your childhood will start resurfacing and you'll start realizing, oh, okay, that's where that came from, that's where this came from. Now, is it 100% necessary to figure out where your core issues came from? No, that's not 100% necessary for everyone. It was very helpful for me to figure out where they came from. So, because I feel that the deeper you understand something, the more you can break something down, the better chance you have of really working with it and moving through it and moving past it eventually, right? But core issues, basically my point is, once we have identified those, it's really important to identify the core issues, whatever they are. And now I went through a whole course that did this, okay? So yes, I have core issues and I know what they are, but really identifying them, you realize that it's the core issues inside of you that trigger you to get upset with people. Okay, so when you find yourself triggered and you're upset from someone else, that other person has actually triggered a core issue inside of you, and that's why it hurts so bad, is because for you, it's validating that core issue that you have. So then a really, really good way, and how we really can even further learn from children, is when that core issue is triggered, reminding ourselves that, number one, it's not true, it's a false belief we've created about ourselves. And number two, not suppressing the emotion that comes with that comes from the core issue being triggered, not suppressing it. Really learning from children, because if you look at children, when they've hurt themselves, or when their feelings are hurt, or they're not getting their way or whatever, what do? They cry, they get it out, they don't suppress it, they just get it all out, even if they throw a tantrum, and then they just go right back to playing, okay? And so it is actually really, children display the way we should process our emotions. Now, I'm not saying that if someone upsets you, that you should just like scream and yell and throw a tantrum. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying in this here is that if someone is triggering that within you, that you not suppress it. You maybe wait until you're by yourself, until there's come a good time within that day, or sometime as soon as you can, really. As soon as you can. You want to go somewhere by yourself, and you want to get all that emotion out. You know, even if you have to fake cry. Like, fake crying will actually help you release those emotions so they don't get trapped inside. You don't suppress them, and then they cause disease and dysfunction within your physical body. No one wants that. So it's really good that when we have feelings like that and we do feel hurt, that we get that out, even if that's screaming and throwing a tantrum just with ourselves when the time is appropriate for that. That's really going to help, and that's really a way you could connect to your inner child, but also really learn from children. So yeah, and I would get further into that, but I feel like it's like I've already talked about it for a few minutes, and I want to bring it back to the inner child. So I was going to bring it back to connecting to our inner child actually helps us connect to our joy. And our joy is our purpose, guys. Our joy equals our purpose, okay? Our life purpose is going to be something we enjoyed doing as a child, or it's going to be something very similar. Now, maybe you discover new things when you grow older, but whatever brings you joy, it's usually like you can figure out what brings you joy and find your life purpose by connecting to your inner child and connecting to those things that brought you joy as a child, okay? So maybe that's like working with animals because you got a lot of joy out of helping animals and having animals around when you were a kid. Maybe that's going to be being an artist, or like there's so many things, but I'm saying you can find your life purpose by doing this, connecting to your inner child, thinking about what made you happy as a child. And when we're on life purpose and we're living our life purpose, and it could be more than one thing, okay? Definitely it could. But when we find that and that brings us joy and we're resonating at a high vibration, that is what is in our best and highest good. And our purpose and what is in our best and highest good is going to be in the collective's best and highest good. And it's also going to be of service to others. So your purpose is serving others in some way, being of service to others, right? So that's why it's so important to connect to that inner child, okay? Because it's raising our vibration, it's helping us find our joy, it's helping us not take life so seriously all the time and lighten up and be more childlike. It's helping us to not suppress our emotions and really get them out in a healthy way, right? And it's helping us find our life purpose, find our joy again, and bring us back to that joy. When we are in a state of joy and a high vibration, this helps to manifest more of what we want. It's going to manifest more of that joy and more of that happiness and fulfillment and feelings of peace and serenity. More of that is going to come into our life the more we connect to this part of ourselves. So it's very important, and I really think that if everyone reconnected to this part of them, we could truly all heal and step into a new earth of love, light, and infinite possibilities. So with that, I just want to bring my daughter and her friend over into the video, because also too, it really helps to connect with your inner child when you just kind of let your children play and be themselves and be their natural selves, and that really helps you to connect to your inner child. So hey guys,
hello.
Say hello.
Hi. Hi.
Hi. Okay, now can you say goodbye to everyone? I'm gonna let everyone go for now. So we just really wish that you guys success in connecting to your inner child. We really hope that this video was helpful and gave you some ways to connect to your inner child, and now you understand why it's so important, and just giving you lots of love. Until next time, we'll see you guys later. Say bye, guys. Bye.
Bye.